All-America, all-arounder at LSU. I'm Lynn Rollins. This LSU team to this point has done perhaps even more than expected in preseason. It's been 3 years of perfection in this building for LSU, 23 straight match victories. 13 times Missouri has come here. It has yet to beat LSU in this building. But the Missouri Tigers are in a very good place. They're off to an outstanding start. They've got high expectations this year.
Absolutely. The 2017 Missouri Tigers were off to a great start. Their season opener, they did 196.225, which is the highest in school history for an opener. They're ranked 7th on vault in the nation. So this team definitely has contention for attending the national championship this year.
Kaylee, two of the very best vaulting teams in America will be on display tonight. LSU is ranked 3rd in vault and not less than 3rd in any of the 4 events. So we are going to see excellence from LSU, and we are going to see a determined Missouri team trying to make a mark in the Southeastern Conference. It's already got a nice victory this year.
Absolutely. The Missouri Tigers recently had their first SEC road win versus Arkansas a few weeks ago, so they're ready to get after it in the SEC, and they've been doing a great job so far. Speaking of getting after it, that's exactly what these fans are doing tonight. We've got 5-digit totals here in fan attendance, well over 10,000, I'm sure. You can't find many empty seats in this building, and these have become commonplace crowds at LSU in the last 3 or 4 years. The sport has exploded in Baton Rouge. Absolutely. They've done such a great job with marketing and attendance, so it's great to see such a great crowd. Here's Sarah Finnegan up first for LSU. Beautiful Yurchenko layout full. Not a lot of distance off the table, but overall a very good leadoff vault for the Tigers. Her best vault this year is 9.85. Sarah Finnegan, a sophomore out of Lee Summit, Missouri. Here it is again. Not a lot of height that you normally see from her, and a tiny step back, but like I said, overall a great leadoff vault for the Tigers. Coming up first on bars for Missouri, Aspen Tucker. The best she's done on this exercise is 9.825. She goes for her release move, a nice piked Jaeger. She had to really reach for that one. Back down to the low bar, bail. Back up to the high bar. Looks like that handstand might have been a little bit short. Into a blindfold double tuck. Stuck landing. Very nice lead off for Aspen Tucker. Sarah Finnegan scored 9.8 as we watch Aspen Tucker again. She really had to reach for that release move right there, but she really extended and grabbed that bar. And there's the beautiful dismount, nice high double tuck, and a stuck landing. So Lexi Priestman will follow Sarah Finnegan's 9.8. This young lady is a sophomore out of Cincinnati, and she has come close to perfection this year with a 9.9. Last week on this vault, she got a 9.85 at Kentucky. And tonight we saw the 1.5 for the first time. That was beautiful. Nearly perfect landing, beautiful height, beautiful distance. Here it is again. A little low on that landing. It didn't look like she got enough height off the table. Had to take that step back, but 1.5 vaults are very hard to find the landing and to get control, especially on a competition surface. So 2 solid vaults, one by Finnegan, one by Priestman, and here's Madeline Huber. Madeline is out of St. Louis, a 5'5" sophomore. Last year, her freshman year, she was a mainstay in this bars lineup. She's got really nice toe point, really nice extension throughout her bar routine, so it's really nice to see a bar worker that really executes those handstands. Let's update you quickly on Priestman, 9.85 on her vault. Looks like the judges are still trying to figure out Aspen Tucker's score. So they will take a moment, confer if necessary. $9.825 is the score for Aspen Tucker.
which matches her season's best.
She goes for her first release move, a straddle Jaeger, immediately into a bail. A lot of times you'll see the bail down to the low bar go into handstand, but when it's connected from a release move, you're not required to pass through the handstand. She goes for her dismount. Beautiful double layout and a perfectly stuck landing. That was a great routine.
Indeed it was, and her teammates celebrate. There were not many deductions in this routine.
Look at her toe point, beautifully executed on everything that she does. Perfect form, tiny leg separation, but the judges probably couldn't see that in her double layout. Great routine.
So we go back to vault. Here is Sydney Ewing, a senior and 3-year letter winner out of Lafayette, Louisiana. Her best score has been 9.875 this year on the vault.
She had a little trouble last week finding this landing on her Yurchenko full and a half, but I bet she's back for more and looking for that stick. That looked nearly a stick to me. Maybe a tiny step back, but overall a very nice vault. She had a lot of height, a lot of distance. Here it is again. Just a tiny step back. The judges will probably take a half a tenth on that since it wasn't too big. Up next on bars is Brooke Kelly.
Brooke Kelly waiting to approach the bar. She gets the okay. 9.875 has been her best. Brooke is a sophomore from Birmingham, Alabama.
She missed that first handstand. Didn't look like she got her tap right before her release move, so that caused her to let go early and miss the bar. It's always tough to get yourself going after a fall on your first major release move, so she's got to remember just to finish strong. Nice pass handstand, bail handstand down to the low bar. Beautiful double layout dismount. Her legs were glued together throughout that whole thing. She goes, she didn't pike enough, she didn't arch down and just could not hang on to that bar. She was a little far. And then here's her dismount to get, again, those legs were glued together. Overall, a pretty good routine after that mess up, so she finished strong.
Maya Hambrick, a junior out of Temple, Georgia, is up next for LSU on vault. 9.925 has been her best this year.
She's competing the Yurchenko full and a half now, and she nailed that landing. That was absolutely beautiful. It's very hard to find that stick on that vault. So getting out here, doing it in the competition arena, you get to find it more often. There it is. It's absolutely beautiful. Those feet did not move. The crowd is screaming 10. We'll see what the judges think.
She gets a hug from the dean of all Southeastern Conference coaches. 40 years at LSU. That, of course, is D.D. Bro. We go back to bars. Here's Brittany Ward.
She is one of Missouri's best workers. She was made all-SEC team last year, SEC all-freshman. She's gotten a bunch of awards, so she's a really standout gymnast for Missouri.
Out of Ozark, Missouri, a 5'3" sophomore.
Blindfold right on top into a double tuck. Tapped out a little bit early. Overall, a very nice routine, especially coming back after you had a fall in front of you. See her huge Tkachev.
She makes it look easy and effortless, doesn't she?
Absolutely. Blindfold, she lands right on top. Tapped it out a little early on that, but overall, a very nice routine from Brittany Ward.
Well, the crowd was yelling for a 10 on Maya Hambrick's vault. She almost got it, 9.95. That's a season's high and the high score of the meet so far. Following Hambrick is a freshman out of Chino, California, Kennedy Edney.
She had a tremendous meet last week against Kentucky. That Yurchenko full and a half was really nice. She had a lot of height, a lot of distance, but couldn't quite control that landing and took a step out of it. Here it is again. You'll see her chest just came forward and she had to take that step out of it, but once she finds that landing, like she has before, she'll go 9.95 easily.
9.825, the last bar score for Brittany Ward, a very nice routine. And here is Shauna Miller. Shauna's best score has been 9.85.
She goes into her first release move, line change into a pike Jaeger. Looks like she was just a little too far from the bar.
So 2 costly falls.
Absolutely, and now it's how you finish. So she really has to finish strong here so that they can pick which scores the best out of the 2 falls.
The first fall was costly to Brooke Kelly with a 9.05. So Missouri falling behind quickly with a couple of mistakes on bars.
Watching this Missouri team this year, these are the little mistakes that they've been making, and it's just all about experience and getting out here, competing against SEC teams, and learning how to control these nerves, because they've got the gymnastics. They just have to control it in the competition arena.
Missouri has defeated number 24 Illinois. It has wins over Ball State and Lindenwood and Southeast Missouri. It got its first ever road SEC victory against Arkansas and has lost to Alabama and Georgia in consecutive meets.
Despite the fall, she had a beautiful double layout dismount, tiny hop on the landing. She just could not find that release move, unfortunately.
Kennedy Edney's score was 9.8, and here is Ashley Knapp, one of the most popular gymnasts in LSU history, a senior out of Lake Mary, Florida. She's had 6 perfect scores, 11 times in All-America. Ashley Knapp, one of the very best in the country.
Absolutely. She's definitely one to watch this year. One of LSU's top girls.
Bug on the run.
Yurchenko double full. There it is. And
that
she nails
might be
that
number
landing.
7 perfect score. You're going to have to look hard to find a blemish.
Absolutely, especially with that huge height off the table. She finds that landing. You see her eyes gaze toward the mat. She knows that she has it coming out of that last twist. Big smile, and Bob Moore loves a stuck vault.
That's almost becoming commonplace for Ashley Knapp. Back to bars. Becca Schugel, 9.85 has been her best.
She's another beautiful bar worker from Missouri. Beautiful lines, beautiful toe point. Nice pike Jaeger, immediately into a bail.
That's good stuff.
Beautiful job so far. Nice handstand into a blind full. Little slow there, but she recovered. Double tuck with a small step. Great finish. She had a lot of pressure on her going in that anchor spot with a few mess ups before her, so that was a great routine. There's the pike Jaeger, a lot of height on that. Here's the dismount, blind full to a double tuck. Just that small step on the landing. Overall, a great job.
But 2 falls on bars for Missouri, and the LSU Tigers have the lead after the first rotation. We'll be back to review scores and team scores for you right after this timeout. We're in Baton Rouge tonight. Number 2, LSU, hosting number 11, Missouri, on the SEC ESPN network. And I think we might be having an exhibition here, and we will. Packed house in the Maravich Assembly Center. Missouri suffered a couple of falls on bars and paid for it And we will be looking at some Missouri scores in just a moment. Also, all of the LSU scores and team scores coming up. But it's awfully difficult when you fall twice. One of them was in the 8 range. The other was about 9. So Missouri already is behind the 8 ball after one rotation.
Absolutely. They need to go to vault, floor, and beam and make up for it. So we'll see what they have to do on the rest of the 3 events.
Vault, by the way, is Missouri's best event, ranked in the top 10 in the country, 7th in fact. And so we could see an opportunity for the Missouri Tigers to make up some ground. Let's go ahead and look at Missouri on bars. They will cast out the low score of 8.6. All the other scores were pretty solid with the exception of Kelly's fall as well.
Absolutely. They had a great bar rotation. It was just those tiny mistakes. There was nothing really built in that was wrong with the routines, just the falls. So if they could get those points back, they're definitely in contention to have a great season.
Ashley Knapp was near perfect, a 9.95. It would have been her 7th perfect 10, but everybody scored well for LSU.
Absolutely, they did a great job. They had some trouble finding some landings here and there, but if you can score 9.8, 9.85 and go 49.4 and you're not sticking all your landings, what's going to happen when you stick all of them?
And when you throw out a 9.8, you know you've done pretty well. Ashley Knapp was near perfect on this vault. As you see the updated score, LSU leading as Knapp with a 9.95. The crowd loves it. We will be back with more from the Maravich Assembly Center. Scored 49.4 on vault. Missouri suffered a couple of falls on bars and has a 48.35. Welcome inside, everyone. Not a seat is to be had. Another great crowd inside the Maravich Assembly Center. LSU has won 23 straight gymnastics matches in this building. The expert next to me is Kaylee Dixon-Abboud, twice an All-America all-arounder at LSU. Kaylee, LSU does what it normally does on vault. It will go to bars now, but Missouri has a chance to make up some points because this is Missouri's very best exercise coming up.
Yep, they've got some girls in their lineup that have gone 9.975 before. So their capability of hitting that 49.4 and 49.5 mark is very capable.
Let's take a look at Missouri's upcoming schedule. This is what's ahead. George Washington and Iowa and Lindenwood will be the opponents. And then Missouri goes to Georgia. And, of course, Missouri also at Florida on the 24th. LSU will take on Arkansas in Fayetteville next week and then be involved in the meet against Georgia, Missouri, and Oklahoma. What a matchup that will be. George Washington and Iowa will be here on February 19th. The Tigers go to the Auburn Tigers on the 24th and then against Florida. You know, we're approaching another week or so. We'll be at the halfway mark already of the gymnastics regular season.
Yep, absolutely. It's time to start thinking about postseason and RQS, which is the regional qualifying score. You take your 6 scores, you drop one of them. They have to be away too. You drop the highest score, you get the rest of your 5 scores, and you average them. And that's how they determine where you're going to regionals and who will be attending regionals.
And we've talked about this before, but in gymnastics, the subjectivity is almost removed because you're not dealing with someone's opinion with polls. You're dealing with hard numbers. So when you are ranked 2nd in the country, you've deserved it. If you're ranked 1st in the country, it's because your numbers have been best for that year. You're almost competing against perfection, not so much the other team.
Yep, you're definitely competing against the judges, the scores that you're going to get that night, as well as not only your opponent in the arena, but everyone else that's competing in college gymnastics that night.
And speaking of the road to nationals, we will be looking at the latest gymnastics polls a little bit later tonight. So we're just about set to go. Missouri up on vault, LSU on bars. Madeline Huber is first for Missouri out of St. Louis, a 5'5 sophomore. She's had a 9.85 on vault this year.
She went 9.8 last week at Georgia. Very nice Yurchenko layout full. She piked down at the landing and had to take that step back. She had a really great distance. Here it is again. There it is, that pike down. And when you pike down, that causes you to take that step or hop backwards.
Here's Shea Zamardi for LSU.
I love Shea as a leadoff bar routine. She's got amazing skills in her bar routine, amazing form, and it's different. You don't just see the same routine from her that everyone else does.
She's a veteran, a 3-year letter winner, a senior out of Vancouver Island, British Columbia.
Double Arabian dismount. Couldn't quite find the stick on that, had to take a step forward. But overall, a great leadoff routine for the Tigers.
9.85 has been Shea's best bar score this year.
Shapash up to the high bar, right into a packed salto down to the low bar. Perfectly executed.
She's had a 9.9 in her career.
Yep, and she's an All-American on this event. It's that double Arabian, that small step.
Back we go to the vault. Shauna Miller out of Knoxville, Tennessee.
Overall, a pretty good vault. Not a lot of height on it either. Take a look at that again. She goes. A little bit of a leg separation. Just not enough amplitude.
Did it look to you like she might have even checked up a little bit before she got to the vault?
Yeah, it looked like she didn't quite get the run that she had anticipated approaching the board. You want to speed up when you approach the board, not slow down, so that probably caused a little bit of an issue on the back end of that vault.
Huber's opening vault was 9.725. Zamardi scored 9.825 on LSU's bars. And here's Maya Hambrick. Hambrick has had a 9.9 this year.
Beautiful cast handstand so far. Beautiful, huge release move.
She's a junior out of Temple, Georgia.
Just the dismount left for Maya. Let's see if she can nail it here. Small step on that full-out dismount, but overall a very clean routine. There wasn't much wrong with it. She goes for her dismount, full out. Tiny step backwards. Maya is steady Eddie for the Tigers. She's very consistent on all 4 events.
Here's Angie Kern, a 5'4" senior from Columbia. Her best score has been 9.85 this season. And that's what Miller scored on ball.
That was a beautiful vault. She did a Yurchenko layout half. Like the full and a half is a blind landing, so it's very hard to stick. I think she just had a small hop on that landing, but she had great height, great distance from the table. Just that tiny hop. That's all I saw.
.85 on bars for Hambrick. And Ruby Harrell is next. Harrell out of Bristol, England. A member of the Great Britain Olympic team twice.
She's an outstanding competitor. She's made her way back into the lineups after resting, and there's her release move. I'm not even going to attempt how to say it because it's very difficult to say.
It's also very difficult to do.
Absolutely. I think she wows everyone when she does it. It's very unexpected. That was a beautiful routine.
She's only competed in bars 3 times now this year.
They were resting her a little bit after coming off of the Olympic Games, all that tough training, but now she's back. Great release move down to the low bar, and then a hop right into her double front dismount, small step on the landing, but overall a great routine.
Kennedy Harris, a junior from Atlanta, has had a 9.9 on vault this year. Nicely done.
Beautiful Yurchenko layout full. tiny hop on the landing, but overall a great vault. Here it is again. She were to just open her hips a little bit, she would have found that landing perfectly because it was great. Really nice in the air, great height, great distance.
Ruby Harold scored 9.875 on bars, and that brings up Kennedy Edney.
Edney won bars last week, tied with her teammate Lexi Priestman, went 9.925 at Kentucky.
She's had two very good meets in a row, 9.9 a couple of weeks ago, 9.925 last week.
Beautiful clear hip to handstand right on top, into a bail handstand.
That's pretty crisp, isn't it?
Beautiful, her form is great, her handstands are right on top. Just the dismount left. Beautiful double layout, just couldn't find that stick. Release move. And then here's her dismount again. Beautiful double layout. Like I said, just had to take that little step backwards. Overall, a tremendous routine.
That release move visually is very appealing, isn't it? The way she sets it all up.
Yes, very appealing. She does it very, very well. Makes it look very easy.
Aspen Tucker out of Lehigh Acres, Florida.
That was a gorgeous Yurchenko layout full. Barely anything wrong with it. I didn't even see a hop on the landing or anything. I think that's going to put up a great score for Missouri. She held on to that landing at the end.
She's following Kennedy Harris's 9.8. And LSU now, we go back to vault. Sarah Finnegan. Sarah has had a 9.9 and a 9.925 this year.
She's also ranked 12th on bars this season so far.
She's following Kennedy Edney's 9.85.
You'll see her beautiful toe point. We talk about it every time. Here she goes for her dismount. Legs glued together on that double layout. Again, tiny step backwards. They're just having some trouble finding those landings. And again, it's early in the season. It's going to take time for both Missouri and LSU to find those landings on the competition surface. So release move again. And her double layout dismount, beautiful form, tiny step back.
Lexi Priestman will wrap it up for LSU, but first Brittany Ward on vault. She's been near perfection this year. Her average is 9.875, but she's had a 9.95.
She's ranked 19th on this event. Round off on, half on the horse, and pike off. That's a great vault. You don't see it very often, and she executed it beautifully. Here it is again. See the round off, half on, pike off. She held on to that landing.
Pretty good stuff
that
for Missouri on vault.
Beautiful.
Here's Lexi Priestman. Last week she had a 9.925 at Kentucky.
She goes for Tkachev. Immediately into a pack salto down to the low bar.
This is a high energy routine.
Absolutely, and she's a high energy girl. She's a great competitor in and out of the gym. She's just a great girl. I'm happy to see her doing so well in college gymnastics. Huge double layout, but couldn't find the stick. Here's her Tkachev again. Beautiful combination, great form, good height on everything she did there. And then the double layout dismount. She's had so much power out of there, couldn't quite get that stick.
So we're halfway through this meet here between Missouri, ranked 11th in the country, and LSU, ranked 2nd. We will have an exhibition bars routine. And we're still waiting for Brittany Ward's vault score. Kylie Moran will be in an exhibition bars performance. Brittany Ward a 9.925. Very nicely done.
Absolutely. She deserved every bit of that score. That was a beautiful vault.
And Lexi Priestman a 9.85 on her bars routine.
I think for both LSU and Missouri, they just couldn't quite find their landings overall. That was the biggest thing, and those little tents add up. If you cannot find your dismount landing or your tumbling pass landings on floor, those little half tents and full tents really start to add up, and they make a difference at the end result for your team score.
Let's take a timeout. When we come back, we will review vault and bars scores, plus an update on the team score. It's all coming your way next on the SEC ESPN Network. We warmly welcome you back into the Maravich Assembly Center. You see the scores after Missouri's vault and bars, 97.475 for Missouri, and for LSU, 98.65 after going 49.4 on vault and 49.25 on bars. Welcome inside the Maravich Assembly Center, everyone. This has been a place of perfection for LSU over the last 3 years, a house of horrors for visiting teams. And Missouri, although much improved this year, has not had a lot of success against LSU, winning only 6 times in its history in gymnastics. There are the scores for the Missouri Tigers in vault.
Overall, a pretty good vault rotation. They just couldn't find some of their landings. A lot of pike down, some step backs, but once they find those landings, their vault scores are going to soar.
And LSU on bars, 9.825 was the lowest score. And the best, of course, was the 9.875 by Ruby Harrell.
Again, the biggest thing with them, too, were the dismount landings. Steps back, those tend to add up, but overall, they had consistency throughout their bar lineup. They just need to nail those landings at the end of the routine.
When we come back, it's Missouri on the floor exercise and LSU on beam, the #1 beam team in the land. A vacant seat. LSU, after 2 rotations, has the lead over Missouri with Kaylee Dixon-Abood. I'm Lynn Rollins. Let's take a look at the Road to Nationals latest rankings. LSU is going to check in at #2, and a lot of Southeastern Conference schools are represented in the top 20. Oklahoma still #1 with that 197.781 average score. LSU right on the heels of the Sooners.
LSU has been creeping up to that 198 mark every week. That's their goal, and that's very achievable for them. They can definitely do that. It's just about putting it all together at the right time.
And as we look at the second 10, you see Missouri tied for 11th. Auburn is number 17, and just outside the top 20, Arkansas at number 24. We have a final in Southeastern Conference competition tonight. Georgia has won for the 5th meet in a row since losing to LSU. Georgia tonight beat Kentucky 196.5 to 196.15. So the Gym Dogs in Athens tonight winning their 5th straight meet.
You know, that happens at the beginning of the season, nerves. They get to you, you get them out, and then now they're back in action and doing what Georgia does.
Arkansas is at Auburn, and Florida is at Alabama. If we have updates on those, we will pass them along throughout this meet. Missouri, number 11 in the land, and LSU ranked number 2. And the Tigers of LSU looking for their 14th consecutive victory without a loss against Missouri in the Maravich Assembly Center. You know, Kaylee, this LSU team #1 on beam, that rolls off the tongue rather nicely, but it's only been a few years since beam was a nemesis for LSU, but great improvements have been made the last couple of seasons.
Beam is a make or break event, and LSU has been previously known for being a powerhouse team, and they still are, but now look at their bars and beam rankings. They're within the top 3 on all 4 events, so I think that's really going to help them make strides towards their goal of winning a national championship.
Erin McAdeg is up first for the Tigers.
Last week, she led off beam with a 9.9.
That was her highest beam score this year. Her lowest has been 9.85. She has been rock solid.
She is a beautiful beam worker, one of the nation's best. Slight wobble there on a full turn.
This is the only event in which she has worked this year. She has not vaulted, she has not been on bars, nor has she been on floor. She has been a beam specialist, and she's been very good.
Absolutely. She adds depth to the other 3 events. She works them in the gym, but beam is definitely her specialty. It's very nerve-wracking to lead off beam, and it's very commendable how well she does it. She gets up there, she's normally very calm. That break at the beginning was very uncharacteristic of her, but she's recovered well.
She's a junior from Redwood City, California. McAdeg is the shortest Tiger gymnast at 4 feet 9 inches.
A little shaky on that beam set, but she got through. See her front aerial right into a straddle jump. That was perfectly done. And then here's her gainer full off the side of the beam. The stuck landing. Great finish for her. A little shaky in the middle, but she recovered well.
Here's Allison Bauer out of Mesa, Arizona. 9.8 has been her top score on the floor exercise so far this year.
Last season, she was a mainstay in this floor lineup, competing in all 13 meets she had last year. Nice double pike as her first pass. Last week on floor, the Missouri Tigers had a season best of 49.225, where all competitors scored at least a 9.8 on this event. So that was a great thing for them to do away at Georgia last weekend.
And we should mention that Missouri is without the services of Morgan Porter, who tore an Achilles heel a couple of weeks ago. She has recently undergone surgery. She is lost for the year, but they do expect her to make a full recovery for next season. But that's a major blow against LSU, against Missouri, with the loss of Morgan Porter, who was an outstanding freshman a year ago.
She was one of the SEC's best as a freshman last year, so it is a huge loss, but Coach Welker said they have a lot of depth, and that's what it's for. You have to use everyone you have and train everyone you have, so that if something like that happens, the next person's ready to go in, step up, and put up nice scores.
And Allison Bauer does just that, leading off the floor exercise for LSU, or for Missouri. Erin McAdeg, by the way, was 9.675 on beam.
It's a nice double pass on her first pass, and then she ends with another double back on her last pass. Overall, a great, solid leadoff routine for the Missouri Tigers.
Here's Maya Hambrick.
She also went 9.9 on beam last week, along with her teammate Erin McAdeg.
Out of Temple, Georgia. A 2-year letter winner as a junior. She has been the SEC Gymnast of the Week against Georgia and at Alabama, so twice this year.
She's very consistent, very calm. You always know what you're going to get with her. She's very, very emotionally stable on everything. Even when something doesn't go quite right, she bounces right back and finishes strong. And that's a sign of a great athlete.
She's ranked 7th in the country in beam this year.
It's her acro series. Back handspring layout, step out.
She exudes confidence.
She's got a great routine going so far, just the dismount left.
Superb. 9.925 has been her career best. She may approach that.
That was a beautiful routine, and she topped it off with a beautiful stuck landing. Here's her acro series again. Beautifully done back handspring layout, step out. And there's the round off double full with a perfect landing.
Allison Bauer scored 9.8 on the floor. That matches her season's best. And here's Aspen Tucker. She's had a 9.85 this season.
She has been an outstanding freshman for the Missouri Tigers so far. She claimed her second all-around win against the Crimson Tide a few weeks ago. So she is enjoying her collegiate debut and doing a great job while she's at it.
This is one of the foundation performers for the next few seasons for Missouri.
Absolutely, she's only going to get better from here the more experience she gets in the competition arena. She goes for her second pass. Front handspring, front full. Looked like she landed a little funny on that.
This is well choreographed with the music.
Absolutely. She's having fun out there, trying to recover from that little mishap on her second pass.
Not a disaster, but certainly an unforced error.
Yep. Let's see how she finishes up here. Very nicely with a beautiful double pike. Very nice finish. I think she missed her 2-flip pass out of that second pass. I bet she was supposed to go front full to a punch front, so her start value may be a little low on that. There's her double back. Beautiful landing.
On the balance speed for your Fighting Tigers.
And there's her last pass. Beautiful double pike with a nice landing.
By the way, Maya Hambrick had a 9.9. Here's Sydney Ewing. Her beam average has been 9.6. She's had a 9.9. This young lady not only is an outstanding gymnast, but she is a 3-time academic All-American.
She's got it all. She's got the whole package. She's a great teammate, great worker, and a great leader. Slight wobble on that leap. Sydney's a very consistent performer. Going in that third spot on beam, you want consistency, and you want someone that can put up a great score every time, and Sydney is that person.
She's had the luxury of having family and friends watch all of her home meets. Just an hour west of Baton Rouge in Lafayette.
She goes for a dismount. Round off 4.5. Slight hop on the landing, but overall a very nice routine. Here's that acro series again. Back handspring step out, lay out to 2 feet. Nicely done. And the round off 4.5 dismount. Overall a very nice routine. A few wobbles here and there.
Aspen Tucker, 9.625 on the Missouri floor exercise, which preceded Angie Kern. Angie with a 9.8, her best this year. And she starts in the middle of the mat. Not a lot of folks start right there.
Nope, everyone's going to start a little bit different depending on their choreography, depending on personal preference, so you're going to see it all from every single different girl. She was in the floor lineup in all 13 meets in 2016, and in her 2015 year, she only missed 1 meet on the floor, so she's been a mainstay in this lineup for the Missouri Tigers. She opens up with a nice front full punch layout. two-skill combination. Nicely done.
That was right in front of us, and that strain on her face quickly shifted into a big smile, didn't it?
Absolutely. Floor landings can hurt a little bit after doing them for so long. Nicely done on that second pass with a double tuck. There's her leap combination. That is a required element in floor routines for college gymnastics. Gotta have a split that reaches 180. Showing off her dance moves, getting those last few breaths in. Floor routines, when it gets to that third pass, you're getting all the air you can to make it through. She ends with a Rudy. That was nicely done.
An entertaining performance.
She did a great job between her choreography and her tumbling. It was a great routine. There's that double tuck. There's the Rudy. She kind of let her form go a little bit at the end, but overall, a great, solid performance.
Sydney Ewing's beam score was 9.825. And now LSU returns to the beam. Kennedy Edney.
Last week against Kentucky, she went 9.95 on this routine.
Near perfection.
Near perfection is right.
The lowest she has scored has been 9.8. She's also had a 9.875 and a 9.825.
She is also SEC Gymnast of the Week, and now she's scored a career high on every event so far in her college career. So she's really starting out strong as a freshman for LSU, and she's only going to get better. So piked front toss, I love that skill. She does it very well. There's a lot of height off the beam.
You know, interestingly enough, too, last week against Kentucky was her first all-around competition. She did quite well, 39.625.
She did outstanding. That 39.625 put her in the top. There's that front toss again. She's now ranked second in the all-around because of that 39.625 all-around last weekend. Couldn't quite find the landing on that dismount, but the rest of her beam routine was very solid.
Angie Kern scored a 9.8 for Missouri on the floor. And this is Madeline Huber, who has had a 9.85 on floor this year. Madeline competes in everything except beam tonight.
She goes for that first pass. Beautiful double pike, nice pointed toes in the air, and she tops it off with a beautiful landing. Casey Jo McPherson, assistant coach for the Missouri Tigers, formerly Casey Jo McGee, an outstanding Arkansas gymnast. She helps out with the choreography for this team, and she helps coach floor and beam, and she's done a great job for the Missouri Tigers so far. I'm loving the choreography. The girls are really getting into it. Nice leap combination there. Those are not as easy as they make them look. Final tumbling pass. Beautiful 2.5 in the air, but just did not have enough momentum to grab that landing. First two passes were really nice, though. Front layout to a front full. Then here's that last pass again. A 2.5, just didn't have enough.
Kennedy Edney's beam score was 9.85.
here is beam great Sarah Finnegan.
Look at this. Look at that.
I used to think that floor was the crowd's favorite, but I think that turn might have won him over.
She looks like a gyroscope with that move.
Beautiful acro series, right on.
Finnegan's had a problem at Kentucky last week, 9.325, but prior to that, her lowest beam score was 9.925, her lowest.
She's very good, and she stuck the skill she had an issue with last week, so she's bounced back. And that was a gorgeous routine. I didn't see anything wrong with it. We'll see what the judges have to say. There's the turn again.
This
very
is
difficult.
so difficult. You are digging your toes of 1 foot into that beam.
Digging your feet, keeping your chest up, making sure you don't waver one way or the other.
Becca Schugel up next, out of Eagan, Minnesota. Madeline Huber's stumble at the end cost her dearly, a 9.2 on floor exercise.
And she has a beautiful first pass. That is a triple full. It's an E-skill. You don't see many collegiate athletes or gymnasts at all do triple fulls. It's very difficult. Her takeoff was straight up in the air and it was beautifully done.
That gets your attention early, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Nice second pass. So for that leap combination, a switch ring to a wolf full, very beautifully done. She's got nice lines, nice toe point. She's got a great routine going so far. Just has to finish it off with this last pass. And she ends with a double full punch front. I love the different elements in her floor routine. She's definitely a twister. So she loves those twisting elements, and she does them really well.
Nicely done. Very appealing.
That should get some momentum back for Missouri on the floor exercise.
Have you ever seen a spinner dolphin? That's exactly what that first tumbling routine looked like.
It was very beautiful.
Let's go back to beam. The final competitor for LSU, Ashley Knapp. 9.85 last week against Kentucky. The previous week, a 9.925.
She has had some pressure on her in this anchor spot with mistakes that have happened before her, but she has not wavered. She has really done a great job handling the pressure and doing her job up there in that 6th spot. Switch leap into a straddle quarter, and the judges are looking for on that leap combination to make sure her feet have gotten all the way around, because you can try to scoot them, but if they see that, they won't give you all that you deserve for that leap combination pass. Goes for that acro series, back handspring layout step out. Dropped her shoulder a little bit out of the layout step out, but she recovered nicely. Just the dismount. A very nice finish. The only mistake I saw was that wobble out of the acro series. Here it is. She just drops that right shoulder, let that arm go a little bit, and it caused her to wobble. Double full was nicely done.
Becca Schugel had a 9.825 for Missouri on floor after an entertaining performance. And here is Kennedy Harris to wrap it up. She's been really good on this event. A 9.925 has been her best. This is a very energetic routine.
It is. You always want to have that energetic person going in that anchor spot to really get the crowd fired up, get the judges fired up so that you can bring home that big score. Opens up with a nice double pike. Small step forward, looked like her chest was down a little bit in that landing.
But a lot of height.
She definitely did. Switch side into a popa. That was nicely done. She goes for that second pass. Front layout to a front full. Perfect. Talked about Missouri climbing up in the rankings over these past few years. They've really been doing a great job. Their theme this year is ready to climb, and that's exactly what they're doing. They've been getting a lot of 9.9 plus scores, and contributing to those big scores is this junior, Kennedy Harris. She ends with a big double tuck. Last pass, nice landing. And she's all smiles. That was a great floor routine to anchor.
We are going to have a beam exhibition for LSU. Lauren Lee will be coming up after we watch Kennedy Harris finish her routine.
That double tuck, a great routine, and that should put up a really great score.
Here's Lauren Lee out of Plano, Texas. This will not count in the scoring, but a chance for her to compete in front of a jam-packed Maravich Assembly Center gymnastics crowd.
Here's her series. I love it. It's got 3 elements. Front aerial to a back handspring layout step out, and that is not easy at all.
And mighty smooth.
Absolutely. It's nice to exhibition girls, especially on beam, because it's such a nerve-wracking event. You can practice it all you want in the gym, but nothing gives you those nerves on beam like competing in an actual competition setting with judges.
You've heard me say it before, but I truly believe this is one of the most difficult things to do well in all of sports.
I could not agree more. It's a make or break event for gymnasts, and LSU has done a really great job, and so did Lauren Lee. That was a really nice exhibition routine. She handled the pressure well, was very calm up there.
Kennedy Harris had a 9.9 on the Missouri floor exercise.
Kennedy Harris, 9.90.
And I don't think that we're going to have another exhibition performance, although Lexi Priestman was scheduled to go, and I think they have scratched her. So Missouri is going over to the beam, and we will come back to see Missouri finish the meet on beam and LSU on floor. Lots of excitement still coming your way from the Maravich Assembly Center on the SEC ESPN Network. Warm-ups continue as we get set to conclude the meet. LSU on the floor exercise, Missouri on beam, and you see the up-to-date totals. LSU leading 147.975 to 146.425. The weak point in this meet were 2 falls by Missouri in bars. Otherwise, for the Missouri Tigers, this has been a very solid performance on the road in a building that they have never beaten LSU in. This will be the 14th meet in the Maravich Assembly Center between these teams. But Missouri impressive tonight, not up to LSU standards, nonetheless very solid with the exception of that very costly 2-fall performance on bars.
Yeah, they did not have a lot of built-in deductions. It was falls, it was steps, missed handstands. So once they fix all those little details, they're going to put up some great scores.
Let's look at the lineup now as we get to the final event. Well, these are the Tigers of Missouri floor scores. The low score there, Madeline Huber, a 9.2. That's cast aside. And Kennedy Harris ended it with a 9.9, the best of the night for Missouri. LSU on beam. Scores range from 9.675 from Aaron McAdeg to a 9.9 9.50 from Sarah Finnegan and a 9.9 from Maya Hambrick. Good work for LSU on beam.
Not the beam rotation that LSU generally wants, but they have their strongest event next on floor, and they just need to come back and do floor like LSU does floor.
There's Dee Dee Bro. She will be inducted into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame the last weekend in June. We'll be coming back to wrap up this meet right after this timeout on the SEC ESPN Network. Final event, LSU 147.975, Missouri 146.45. The Tigers with a comfortable lead with Kaylee Dixon-Abood, a former two-time all-around All-America at LSU. I'm Lynn Rollins. Let's take a look at the Southeastern Conference standings now, and this league has really come to the forefront nationally. You see LSU, winners of 3 in league play. The average score, 197.588. Florida, a perennial power. Georgia has won 5 straight meets since a loss to LSU, and you see the rest of the standings there. And by the way, we do have a final from Arkansas at Auburn tonight. Arkansas at number 24 has defeated Auburn 196.375 to 196.075. So a nice win for the Razorbacks on the road tonight.
Very nice. That'll put up a great score for them and do great things going down the road for RQS.
Fourth and final rotation. And we welcome our first competitor on the balance team from Missouri, Allison Bauer.
Here's Missouri on beam. Allison Bauer, a 9.8 has been her best. You see the lineup. Tucker, Albritton, Shugel, Kelly, and Ward will follow.
Sets up for our acro series. Back handspring layout, step out. Very nicely done, very confident. We talked about beam being a make or break event, but under Casey Jo McPherson, the Tiger beam lineup has scored at least a 49 on 3 different occasions. So she's really come in and put some good work into her beam lineup and working on the details, getting her girls ready to compete.
Yeah, and they've done it consistently. We see so many teams on a roller coaster ride on this event over the course of the season.
Absolutely, it takes a while to calm your nerves in a competition setting. So early in the season, you're going to see a lot of breaks, a lot of wobbles, a lot of figuring out the lineups.
That's a good start.
That's an amazing leadoff routine for Missouri. I think they're really going to be happy with that score.
Allison Bauer.
That acro series again, back handspring, layout, step out. Little chin pop at the end.
Here is Sydney Ewing. Sydney Ewing.
She went 9.825 in the leadoff spot last week at Kentucky. She really sets the tone for this team.
Her best has been 9.875 this year.
She's definitely capable of being first up and going 9-9 on this floor routine. She's got difficulty, it's clean, and she shows it off.
LSU is the second-ranked floor exercise team in America.
She's happy. Her first 2 passes have been spot on. She opened up with that front handspring double full, E-level pass. And then her second pass was her 2-flip pass, perfectly done. That leap series. Switch side Popa. Again, the judges are looking for those feet, making sure that jump got all the way around so that they can give her credit. Final tumbling pass. Here she goes. Be a double pike. She loved that landing, loved that routine. I think that will be a tremendous leadoff score for Sydney Ewing. Here's that last pass again. The face says it all. When you hit that 2-foot landing and you don't even have to lunge, that's when you know you did that pass correctly.
Her career best is a 9.925. That was a couple of years ago against Minnesota. And she just may approach that with the opening routine. Back we go to beam.
Aspen Tucker, standout freshman.
A fine beam worker, 9.85, her best. And Bauer, before her, scored a 9.775 on beam. Sydney Ewing, 9.9 on floor.
I would agree with that. That's a great start-off score for the Tigers.
In many aspects, Aspen Tucker can be considered one of the foundation bricks for the next 3 or 4 years as Missouri continues to build its program. This is a very talented freshman.
Absolutely. The coaching staff has done a great job recruiting younger talent, getting some really good girls that are coming into Missouri, starting off strong as freshmen, being a young team, and really competing at a high level. So I'm excited for what the future holds for this team because it's going to be great.
A step back on the landing, but everything prior to that was pretty solid.
Had a great routine. There's that acro series, that handspring step out to a layout 2 feet. It's a very difficult beam series to do, but she did it pretty well.
Shea Zamardi is up next for LSU on floor. She has averaged 9.863 out of Vancouver Island, British Columbia. She's a 3-year letter winner, a senior.
Shea is the perfect mix of power and grace. You'll see from her fingers to her toes to her flexibility, all of her beautiful lines, and then you'll see her first big pass.
She generally works 2 events, bars and floor.
She goes big double Arabian, finds that landing, little step back. It's one of those blind landings, very hard to land. A double tuck with a perfect landing. Last weekend at Kentucky, the Tigers scored a season-high score of 49.55 to push their floor average to a 49.475. That's the second highest in the country, and that was the highest SEC road floor score for the Tigers in history. So great job. Beautiful routine from Shea Zamardi. All her landings were really great, tumbling, and her dance, of course.
Her teammates are pleased, so is Shea Zamardi.
That second pass, the double tuck. 4.5 to punch layout. That should build off of Sydney Ewing's 9.9 score very nicely.
Aspen Tucker scored a 9.775 on beam, and now we go to Tia Albritton. Her best this year is 9.85.
Front aerial into a back handspring. That is her acro series. That's a very tough one to connect because you're connecting a forward element and a backward element.
And she is a beam worker only in tonight's meet.
She's got a great routine going so far, very solid. She looks very calm up there.
Marty's floor score was 9.85. So LSU is holding and even maintaining and even increasing its lead.
That is going to put up a great score for Missouri. That was a beautiful routine.
Well done by Tia Albrecht.
Gainer layout full off the side of the beam with a stuck landing. Very nice.
Here's Lexi Priestman. Lexi out of Cincinnati, Ohio. She's a sophomore.
Lexi's been doing such a great job emerging into different lineups, getting healthy again, getting stronger. She had a really amazing elite career, but that can kind of really bang up your body. So she was resting those injuries and getting back to health.
She won the bars title a week ago at Kentucky. And had a 9.875 on floor.
She had an outstanding meet last weekend at Kentucky. She had a huge fan base. All of her family drove in from Ohio to see her compete, and they're just so happy that she's a part of this team and doing so well as an LSU Tiger. They're very proud of her.
She had a series of nagging injuries as a freshman, but still recorded All-America honors on bars at the NCAA Championship.
She's a tremendous athlete, and the more we see her in these lineups, the better. She's contributing tremendously, and it's only going to get better the longer she's in all of them. She's going to get used to everything, college gymnastics, how her body's responding to the different training. So I think we're in for a treat with Lexi Priestman down the road. Ends with a perfectly stuck double pike.
The only event she has not competed in this year is beam.
Here's that double pike, perfectly done. The only problem I saw was on her opening pass. Her chest was a little bit down, but we'll see what the judges have to say.
Becca Schugel averages nearly 9.8 on beam. She's been good for Missouri.
She has a beautiful beam routine, starting off with this triple series right here. 3 elements connected. Couldn't hang on to it, but that series is so difficult, and she normally does it so nicely.
She's had the second highest beam score this year for Missouri, a 9.875, exceeded only by Brittany Ward, who's next in the lineup.
She's definitely a beamer. Switch leap into a beat jump. It can be really hard going into other competition arenas and competing beam. You're really feeling the pressure, but the only way you're going to get better is by doing it. Definitely be a learning experience for her, how to handle the pressure maybe a little bit differently the next time she's out there. Beautiful gainer layout, the side of the beam. It's a shame she fell on that triple series because the beam routine was very beautiful. She had a lot of difficulty in that beam routine. She had a ring jump and a triple series. Very nicely done.
Next on the floor for LSU,
Maya Hambrick is ranked 5th nationally entering this meet in floor exercise. A 5'1" junior out of Temple, Georgia.
Last week she went 9.95 on this floor routine. First pass, a huge double layout. Just coming up a little bit short. Stretch that takeoff enough. I really love Maya's choreography. It fits her personality, and she really gets into it. She just could not get enough momentum going into her 2-flip pass, and that caused her to have some problems and fall.
Her teammate Priestman had a 9.875.
A face we will not see in the floor lineup tonight is McKenna Kelly. She suffered a minor back injury in the touch warm-up at Kentucky last weekend. We'll see her in the weeks coming, but she's out tonight to rest that back and get better. Maya finished up nicely despite the few mistakes she had in that floor routine. It's that final tumbling pass again. It's very uncharacteristic of Maya. She's normally very consistent, very steady, but you can't be perfect all the time. Got to learn from those mistakes and move on and come back even stronger.
Here's Brooke Kelly, a 9.875. Has been her top score this year. Her movement with the music, very fluid, very appropriate.
Yes, and LSU picks those beam songs for them when opponents come. Sometimes they let you play your own, and sometimes they just pick some songs. So I think today they're picking a song, and I wouldn't mind doing beam to this song. It's kind of nice and calming. That leap into a switch side.
Saved it.
She did. She let those shoulders get behind her, but she fought and got them back over the beam to keep her balance. Finishes nicely. Overall, a very nice routine. Just had some trouble with that leap combination. Beautiful acro series. Perfectly over the top.
A series of mistakes by Hambrick cost her. She had a 9.225 on the floor. I doubt we'll see that score from her again. But Kennedy Edney will try to pick up the slack. Her average is 9.925. This is one of the best floor performers in the country.
In her interview last week after the Kentucky meet, she was so shocked to see all of the Kentucky fans really getting into her floor routine. She's like, these aren't even my fans, and they're loving my floor routine. So that was really exciting for her to see as a freshman. She had a great time out there. She's looking to have another great time tonight, getting into these dance moves. All floor routines choreographed by Ashley Claire Kearney Thigpen, former national champion.
Her national ranking on floor this year is 8th in the country.
I'm telling you, she's going to be one to watch this year, and she's going to get greater and greater as the years go on and the meets go on.
Remember, she is a rookie, a first-year performer at LSU.
She's got big tumbling and big personality. Final tumbling pass. A huge double tuck, perfectly landed. She's gonna have some fun with a dab right there. And she is all smiles.
That last pass almost required a parachute. Watch this.
Huge takeoff on that double Arabian. And there's that last pass again. The crowd loves that floor routine. They're all on their feet. They really get into it.
Ashley Natt will be the final competitor on floor for LSU, but first we go back to beam for Missouri. This is Brittany Ward. She's had a 9.925 this year. This is the best beam worker for Missouri and one of the best in the country, in the conference.
You cannot say enough about Brittany Ward on beam. She's racking up the 9.9s on this event, and that's not something that's easy to do. Beautiful acro series.
Rock solid.
She posted scores of 9, 8, or higher in 21 of 26 possible routines. That shows how consistent and how good she is.
Brooke Kelly's beam score was 9.7. Kennedy Edney's floor score was 9.875. That's not going to meet with the crowd's approval when it's announced.
Absolutely not. Brittany Ward doing a great job so far.
Elegance and strength.
Cat leap into a side aerial. That was a beautiful combination. Her teammates earlier in the lineup put a little pressure on her, but it seems as though she's handling it very well.
Good stuff.
I
Good
did
stuff.
not see one deduction in that beam routine. That was gorgeous.
So much in control and no wobbles at all.
That dismount again. That's a blind landing. Not easy to nail like she just did, and she is excited.
So we come to the conclusion between Missouri and LSU, and Ashley Knapp will be the final performer.
I don't even think we have to tell everyone how good she is on floor. She ranks 3rd in LSU history with 7 perfect 10 scores total on vault and floor.
And nationally, she's ranked 6th as we come into this week's competition.
2016 SEC floor champion, and she is not done yet. This is her senior season, and she's looking for more. Huge 2.5 punch front. Has a lot of power.
She scored a 10 on this event at the SEC Championships last March.
Ashley's a great leader. She competes with all heart, and that's their motto for this year, competing with all heart. If you want to win a national championship, you can't just have the gymnastics. You have to have the whole package, and she preaches that to her underclassmen. She opened up out of that double pike. She knew she had it. It was a great floor routine from Ashley Knapp.
B.D. Bro likes it. Her teammates like it. And an effective way to end the meet.
See her open up. She lets go of those legs. She knew she had that stuck landing. There it is.
So LSU in this building wins for the 24th consecutive time. It beats Missouri for the 14th straight time in the Maravich Assembly Center. We'll be back with final team and individual scores for you as we continue with our coverage of SEC gymnastics right here on the SEC. As LSU remains unbeaten this year with a 197.425 to 195.425 victory over Missouri, a full 2 points difference between LSU and Missouri this year. LSU's dominance over the Missouri Tigers continues, especially in the Pete Maravich Assembly Center. Missouri competed very well, both individually and in many events, but the beam let them down a little bit, but it was the 2 falls on bars earlier that really put Missouri behind the 8 ball, and LSU never relented, never gave Missouri a chance to get into a competitive situation.
Once you have those mistakes, especially on the first event, it gets tough to come back. But that comes with experience and learning how to compete in this type of environment, in an SEC opponent environment. So I think they'll get better and they'll learn from this. LSU had some mistakes tonight. They were not perfect, but going 197.425 and that being an okay score with some mess-ups here and there, that's pretty good.
Well, let's look at the final numbers in the last 2 events. This is Missouri's beam score. And 9.9, a very fine finish for Brittany Ward. One of the best beam performances we saw the entire night. But Shugel's 9 was tossed out. Pretty good work on beam by Missouri, but just not nearly enough to catch LSU. And we go to LSU's floor scores. An uncharacteristic 9.225 for Maya Hambrick, but everybody else pretty much did what they normally do. And Ashley Natt at the bottom was darn near perfect.
She was. Kennedy Edney and Ashley Natt rounded out the floor lineup with 2 solid routines, big tumbling, big personalities in their floor dance. So I think overall they ended on a positive note, but they're definitely going to go back in the gym and work on those small details so that they can get better for next week.
And congratulations to Kennedy Edney for LSU, a 39.375. She wins the all-around title with Aspen Tucker, a 39.10, the very talented youngster for Missouri, in second place in the all-around. By the way, we do have a final from Alabama. Florida was defeated by Alabama, somewhat of an upset tonight, a 197.825, a very high score for Alabama, defeating Florida 197.425. Earlier, Auburn was beaten by Arkansas in somewhat of an upset, and Georgia wins for the 5th straight time as it takes care of Kentucky tonight. Georgia scored 196.5. But LSU continues to be perfect this season. The lineup was not perhaps what we'll see next week and the following week with a few little injuries, but nonetheless more than a solid performance by the LSU Tigers.
Absolutely. They're very consistent. They don't let a fall or a mess up stop them, and that's a sign of a great team. They come back and they fight and they never give up.
So that's the story from the Maravich Assembly Center as LSU remains perfect in this building over the last 3 years. For Kaylee Dixon-Abood, I'm Lynn Rollins, saying so long from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where the final score is LSU 197.425, Missouri 195.425. To watch this entire meet on replay, as well as other meets on our family of ESPN networks, log on to WatchESPN.com or download the Watch ESPN app. From Baton Rouge, Louisiana, this has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.